welcome to my channel. God bless you all. I'm making this video to tell you 5 reasons why you need to travel abroad. This is not for everybody. It's for those who have a dream to travel the world, okay? So by the way, we are having winter here and it's snowing. You can see everywhere is white. 5 reasons why you need to travel abroad. This video is not for everybody, guys. It's for people with a dream to travel abroad. It's for people with a vision to travel abroad. You know, vision to inspire the steps you take in your life. So the first reasons why you need to travel abroad is exposure. Exposure enlarges the horizon of your mind. Exposure helps you to capture different possibilities. I think about like my age mates because I went to primary school in a village. And after I completed my primary school, I moved to the city. And some of my friends stayed back in the village. If I were to go back to my village right now and compare myself with any of those my friends that stayed back in the village and have not left the village up to this date that we are making this video, you will see a very huge difference. And the difference is not because we were born different, it's just because I've been exposed to different possibilities. My mind thinks on a different level. When you travel, you exploit different possibilities. When you travel, you see things that challenge your mind, challenge your understanding. Remember, whatever you cannot capture in your mind cannot feature in your experience, in your reality, okay? So every time that God will change a man's life, God will first change the person's mind. Remember one time in the Bible where God said to Abraham to look as far as he can see. He said, for as far as your eyes can see, I'll give to you. So God cannot give you what your eyes cannot see. And remember, the Bible also says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So one of the greatest limitations of a man's life are the ones that are in his mind. And when you are not exposed to a lot of realities, the ideas that you can conceive are limited, okay? The possibilities that are around your life will be limited. Your development will be limited. One of the form of education where people learn and grow is through exposure. Exposure is powerful, guys. Exposure is amazing. So you need to travel to expose yourself. Imagine Dubai. When you look at Dubai and you see those buildings, those monuments, Dubai is like it's like a paradise on earth. When you travel and you get to see those things and you live in them, sleep in them, it will change your mindset, guys. It will change your understanding. It will change your possibility. It will change everything about your life. So travel, exploit the world, and be exposed to all of these realities so that you can be able to make more out of life. Number 2, why do you need to travel? You need to travel for opportunities. Opportunities are important in life, okay? So every nation does not present the same opportunities. I mean, some people can create opportunities wherever they find themselves because they are able to see the problems and provide solutions, but not everybody has that ability. So you need to travel to look for opportunities, guys. I remember one time in the Bible, again, I like to talk about the Bible because basically I'm a pastor, right? So my main book that inspires my life is the Bible. I remember a time when there were these leopards that were out of the city because they were unclean, and then they said to themselves, why sit here and die? Why sit here and die? If we go back to the camp where there was famine, we're gonna die. If we go to the camp of the Philistines, we will still die. He said, but let's be moving. I want to ask you today, you've grown where you've been all your life and things are not changing in your life. Maybe there can be opportunities for you in the next door, in the next city, in the next nation, So there are opportunities around the world that you need to exploit. Job opportunities, career opportunities, financial opportunities, like where I am right now in Canada. You don't need to have a lot of skill to be able to pick up an odd job, maybe to clean somebody's house. I mean, these jobs exist in our nations where I'm coming from, but they are not rewarded. Here, if you clean somebody's house, you get rewarded. If you take care of a madman, you get rewarded. There are just so many opportunities out here to exploit, guys. You need to travel for opportunities. Okay? The third reason why you need to travel is for education. Education. We must agree that our educational standards are not the same across the globe. There are nations that are highly sophisticated in IT, where if you travel, you can gain that IT wisdom and bring it back to your nation and develop your nation. You can travel also to other nations that are sophisticated in nursing. Do you know why? Like in Africa, for example, most of our governors and presidents and parliamentarians and these guys that are top notches in the country always go for their medical treatments abroad, because they know that these people have greater skills and greater exposure. They can do things that we don't have the facilities, even the technicalities, the understanding, even the equipment to be able to do it in our own nation. That's why they travel abroad. So we can travel and learn from these guys, do knowledge exchange, and then gain wisdom from them. Even in the book of Job, chapter 36, verse 3, the Bible says, I will import my wisdom from afar. There's wisdom to be imported from afar. There's wisdom to be accessed from afar. So when you begin to travel, one of the things you want to think about is to educate yourself. Don't go to a nation and come back with the same level of understanding or knowledge that you had when you left. Okay? Go to that area that you're passionate about. Go and learn about that area that God has called you to make a difference in. Maybe it might be in nursing, for example. It might be as a medical doctor. It might be as an engineer. It might be as a financial expert. When you travel, learn from these guys and bring this knowledge back to your country and make a difference, guys. Go and import this wisdom. So we need to travel for education. Education is important. Education has changed nations. Like Singapore, for example. I was looking at Singapore the other day on TV and I was shocked at the kind of country Singapore has become in a very short time, because they decided to think and to work hard. These nations don't have as much mineral resources as some of our African nations that are still struggling in poverty. We have the minerals, but we don't have the understanding, the leadership, and the will to work, dignity of labor, to develop our own nation. So when we go out and we see these values that these people have, because a nation is rich because of its values. DSA says a nation is not rich because of its mineral resources, but because of the values and virtues. So when we travel and we exchange knowledge, values, virtues, we can copy those values that made the nations great and bring them back to our countries and change our nation. This is why you need to travel abroad, guys. You need to leave that country. Don't stay there and die. Don't stay in that village and die there. Come out of that village. I am of the idea that if a young man grows up, he should leave his village. I don't think that a young man should grow up and be tied down in the village, particularly a village. I'm talking about African villages like mine, where I came from. I can't imagine what my life would be if I stayed in my village. I had to come to the city. If you cannot go abroad, leave your village, come to town. Get exposed to challenges of town life. If you're so comfortable with whatever you're doing in the village, you will expire without making an impact with your life, okay? The next reason why you need to travel abroad is to break some cycles, guys. Maybe nobody in your family may have traveled. You need to be the first to break that cycle. Break that cycle. Let the next generation grow and know that these are the possibilities that are captured in this family experience. I have made up my mind that there are cycles in my family I must break. Because when our children grow up, they should not think that they belong to some poor lineage, to some lineage where people just beg, people just struggle, people just try to survive. No, guys, you need to change that template. They need to grow and hear about an uncle that was a pastor. If all that your family has had so far is native doctors, decide to break that cycle. You can choose to be a minister. Maybe God has called you. Respond to that calling. Be the first person to say that this family will not only come out with native doctors, but they will produce pastors as well. They will produce PhD holders as well. They will produce people that will exploit the world as well. If nobody ever had a visa in your family, be the first to get a visa. Break that cycle. Every cycle that has held your family, where nobody goes, there are families where nobody ever goes beyond master's degree. Break that cycle. There are families where nobody ever went to the university. Break that cycle. Whatever that you meet as a cycle in your family, make up your mind to break that cycle. Become a trailblazer. Become a pathfinder. Become a world changer. Set a new record in your family. Set a new record in your family. You need to break that cycle, guys. The fifth reason why you need to travel abroad is to expand your impact. Expand your impact. The Bible says, and this gospel, for example, Jesus said, shall be preached from Jerusalem to Samaria to the uttermost part of the earth. So you start from Jerusalem. That's where the gospel is preached first. You preach it there. And then you take the gospel to Samaria, the next city, the next nation. And then you take it round the world. Bible says, and let them have dominion over the fowls of the air, the fish of the... Dominate more. Enlarge your impact. Expand your influence. When you travel, you expand your influence. When you travel, you expand your impact. Choose to be international. Decide, I will not die as a local champion. Begin to champion organizations that will become international, that will go around the world, that will change the world, that will impact the world. If you're a pastor, maybe God has called you and God has established you in your nation. When you get established and the ministry is doing well, carry the gospel to the next nation. Travel abroad with the gospel. Travel with the mission. Travel with the assignment. Maybe you have an organization right now and maybe you're producing something. Don't just end that company as a local company. No, let that company begin to champion ideas that will impact other nations, that will expand territories, that will make a difference beyond your borders. Okay? You need to travel abroad. And if you need help traveling abroad, please leave a comment